Hi, everyone. I'm Vero. I'm a life coach, and this is my new podcast, Thrive, Don't Survive. Well, where I will be sharing a lot of tools, coaching tools, and I'll be hosting some amazing coaches around the world where we're going to have conversations about mindfulness, about coaching tools, about anything that could help you thrive and stop surviving. I come from a very victim mindset as an immigrant twice and abuse. So I switched my life around and now I'm a VP of a film studio. I am a business owner and CEO. I am a homeowner and I am thriving after thinking I was in the worst place and I could never get out of it. So I want to share my journey with every one of you, and I hope that it's going to be as impactful as it was for me. And I hope you use it. And I'm giving you this from the bottom of my heart. I just want to share my content and I want to share my tools for you to use. So please share, follow, comment. All those things help us so much. So I hope you enjoy it. Here's my first episode. All right, welcome everyone. Here's Emily. We're both in the same group of Rich Confident Coach. So it's a business coaching, and we're here to talk about meditation today. So Emily, can you introduce yourself, please?
Thanks, Vero. Hi, I'm Emily. I'm a holistic health and wellness coach, using holistic practices to help people just kind of level up and just make the most of their day-to-day lives.
Nice.
Vero, can you give us a little background on what you do?
Yes, so I'm a life coach and I help men and women regulate their emotions so that they can fall in love with the life they have while they build the life they love.
Love that.
So tell me a little bit about your journey with meditation and maybe also like any holistic practices that you do, mindfulness.
So I started meditating in 2017, and it was my first year teaching high school students and juniors and seniors. And about 2 or 3 months into meditating, one of the students in the last class of the day, there's always a lot of energy. It was a huge class. She came up and said, "Miss Iverson, you're like happy all the time now. What did you change? Like, you don't get frustrated as easily with us anymore." I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's because I've been meditating." And they say, like, however many 2 months or whatever to start really seeing long lasting benefits when you're not in the moment. So for me, that was like, wow, I will be doing this every day for the rest of my life now.
Nice. That is so cool. I can relate to that as well. I think for me, it started later, like you say, like the 2 months.
Yeah.
So for me, I started meditating in 2020 when during COVID, I was looking for, things to like regulate myself because I was a mess. And I was hearing a lot about meditation. So I think I downloaded an app and since then I only do guided meditation.
Mm.
And for me at the beginning, I didn't feel anything. Like I didn't see anything. It was just, I'm just gonna religiously do this and see what happens. And so I moved from New York to Florida, and as soon as I moved, I noticed that like I didn't have Rage Road anymore. So I was like, who is this? Like I'm so chill. And so like I started being more present and like having all these things. And I don't think I like attached it to meditation for a long time until I started like studying about it. And I was like, oh, that's why.
It is super similar with the like calmer, just more chill. Like,
Mhm,
who is this person?
exactly. And it's
Yeah.
interesting because apparently it's like the gym of the mind. So like with the repetitions, like little by little, your brain starts to be more emotionally intelligent. So it's like you react to things in a more calm way instead of being like fight or flight. Like if you just saw a bear and it's just, I don't know, like a car that wanted to pass you or something.
Yeah, that's my favorite part is that it's like, even if I meditate first thing in the morning, it can be the evening and I still will react calmer because it just like has built up over time.
Exactly. Yeah. And I feel like you don't go back to the way you were before. Maybe sometimes you have like a trigger and things like that, which I don't think it'll ever change. But in general, you don't go back. I mean, I think I have been meditating for 4 years straight. Like I've never stopped. But I feel like if I stop for some reason, it's not like I'm gonna lose it, you know?
What app did you use to get started meditating?
Uh I think I don't remember the first app actually that I have, but I remember I had another one and now I have Headspace.
Okay, Headspace is the first app I used.
Yeah, and you stopped using it, now you meditate on your own?
Yeah, well, now I use Insight Timer. But I really loved for anyone who's new to meditating, I
Mhm.
always recommend Headspace because their like 10-day starter course
Yeah,
was so great for me.
yeah.
Just explaining how to let thoughts pass by,
Mhm.
and kind of just like how to have grace with yourself if it's not going perfectly well.
Yeah.
And then there was the second set of 10 days of beginner, and then the third set of 10 days of beginner, I think, or
Mhm.
maybe it's 20 days once you got to the higher sets. But I did those religiously and just loved them.
Yeah,
Um,
I love that they also have like depending on your mood. Like if you have anxiety right now, so there's like an anxiety course of like 10 days. Then you have panic attacks. There's like a whole section on panic attacks. If you don't know how to sleep, actually like I use every day or not every day, but when I can't sleep, I went on there once and like just one time and just I used the method they showed that day that I was in there, like just count. So you're overthinking. So let your mind overthink, but just count down from 6,999 or something like that. And so now I use that when I can't sleep and it works. Like they have just such specific little nuggets and little courses, break up or da da da. So it's like even for my clients, I just send them my code. I'm like, just use this, and I'm never gonna stop buying it.
yeah, I used Headspace for a year and a half. And
Yeah.
then that was before, I think they have multiple voices now, right?
Two or maybe three. Yeah.
Okay. I just got tired of the same kind of voice all the time. So
Mhm.
I switched. I do Insight Timer now, and it's
Okay.
a little more hit or miss, but I've been really happy with it and it's free. With
Mm.
Headspace, I had the membership, but this one's free. And
Okay.
it had, just like with Headspace, like the courses, the 10-day courses you have to pay for, but
Okay.
they're one off, like for a breakup, for anxiety, for grounding. Those are all free. And yeah,
Nice.
I really like being able to mix up the teacher and the style. And they have
Oh,
like podcast
cool.
talks too.
I'm gonna look into it. I think I went on another one, but they changed. So they started with like it's 10 minutes and then 20 and then more. And I'm like, I want to change that. I just want to do 10 minutes. Like, why are you imposing that I
Yeah.
change my habits?
Yeah. It's my day. Let me decide.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
know that like it's better to improve, like no, to grow the practice and whatever, but sometimes you only have 10 minutes or you just want to spend 10 minutes doing that and it's enough for you. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know people that meditate for an hour. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Either go to the gym for an hour, meditate for 10 minutes.
Well, for me, it's like this big thing to schedule of like, okay, I want to meditate for 30 minutes. And then
Good.
if it doesn't fit in the schedule, what? I don't meditate at all. So for me, 10 minutes is like a super doable chunk of time that I can religiously make happen.
Exactly. Same. So you do 10 minutes or 30 minutes?
I do 10 minutes.
Okay, yeah.
Sometimes on Insight Timer, if there's something specific, like something was triggering or like, I don't know, there's a specific reason, then I'll do a longer one.
Yeah.
But just for my daily, I do 10.
Yeah, I was gonna say exactly that. Like when I'm like struggling and like I can't sleep, I can't do anything, like I do 2 sessions of 10. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know why, like the 20, I feel like I have ADD and like after 10 minutes, I'm like,
Next.
yeah, so I need to like have a break and do it again and focus for the 10 minutes. It's
Yeah.
so hard nowadays, like when you're always wired to screens and dopamine and things, it's so hard. Like I also used to do like 10 minutes without any screens or anything at all because it's just so addictive. And I felt like I was just so, I don't know, like I couldn't control it. So I used to do 10 and 10 and then now I don't do it anymore. I just do like in the morning for 30 minutes, I don't go on my phone. And at night before 30 minutes before sleeping, I don't go on my phone. Those things like that.
Oh, I really love that practice of like bookending the day with no phone. I'm gonna try that.
Yeah, and it's I do it on my phone like I my phone does it for me. So I don't have a choice.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, you have like the screen time manager or something, and sometimes I don't like it. Sometimes I'm like, I have something for work, like, well, let me go on my phone. But it's really good. It's really good.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna look into that. I like that idea.
Yeah.
30 minutes first thing, 30 minutes at the end of the day.
So how do you think that meditation like changed you apart from being more calm?
Oh, good question. So meditation definitely made me more calm. I think it also helps me just to be able, and this also kind of goes hand in hand with yoga, but I think meditation and yoga have helped me be able to just kind of roll with what's happening, and like deal with setbacks in a much more relaxed manner and calm, yes, but also just understanding that it's not the end of the world
Mm,
and something can be uncomfortable and I can breathe through it and get through it.
nice.
Yeah. How about you? How has meditation changed you?
Um, I think yeah, all of everything that you said, and also like um it makes me see my emotions and my triggers as like little clouds, and like not buy into them and not absorb them and just be like, okay, just pass. Just, or okay, I'm just feeling that. And it's just a feeling. It doesn't define me. It doesn't define my day or my mood or anything. I'm just gonna have that feeling there and coexist with life, so that's been like a big transformation and like relief because I was more being controlled with like by my emotions and by what I was feeling, and now I'm just like always calm and grounded, but I acknowledge that those are feelings and thoughts and it's just happening, so I don't let it ruin my day.
Yeah, I can relate to that too. Yeah, that's great. For me,
Yeah.
it's also been a noting of like, oh, I can tell that my heart's beating a little fast. Or like, oh, my mind is going a million miles a minute right now. And just the ability to be aware of that, I think, has come from meditating and that practice of consistent meditation.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like that's so important just to ground yourself and acknowledge it instead of like having a panic attack or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it really has helped. I mean, it de-escalates situations so quickly.
Yeah. Are you able to do that? Like you have a trigger and then you're like, wait, and just not get triggered anymore.
I'm usually too late. Like the trigger happens, but then I can kind of shorten how long the response takes.
Yes.
So I'm already in full on panic mode, but then it cuts it off and keeps it a lot shorter. So I don't know. How about you? Have you noticed a difference in being able to prevent that?
Uh, I don't think I can prevent triggers right now, but I do same thing. Like, I realize the trigger and I'm like, okay, I'm triggered. I need to like take some deep breaths and then come back more calm because if not, I'm gonna probably do or say something that I don't mean. So yeah.
Yeah,
Mm,
totally. Totally.
yeah, that's cool. So I saw that you also do, I don't know if breath work, but cold plunge.
Yeah. Oh, we definitely have to talk about cold plunges. Okay, tell me about how you got to your place that you go to with the sauna and the cold plunge.
That was crazy. That was a coincidence. So my boyfriend has a jiu-jitsu academy. So we went to buy mats from this gym. And in front of the gym, there was this place of cold plunges. And I was like, that's so cool. I want to try that. I've had tried it before in like spas where you have like the sauna and the not the sauna, the jacuzzi, a hot tub, and then the cold one, and you switch it around and stuff like that. But I never had it like in a athlete kind of level. Um, so I saw that and I was like, I know that that's very good for like your vagus nerve, and so that like brings you not only like anti-inflammation, but also like the shock like teaches your body to react to stress better and all these things. So I was like, okay, I might need to try this. And like my holistic nutritionist always talk about it, even if you don't have one, like put your face in ice in the morning when you wake up instead of coffee. And it's like, okay, I need to look into it. So one day I think I had a coachee, like a client that was going through pain, like he had chronic pain. And I was like, oh, let's just go to like this place. And so I went, and the first time I went, we just did the cold plunge sauna and cold plunge, and it was so good. Like I like the feeling right away of like, you don't have any pain anymore, and like you feel so much energy. For him, it was the opposite. He just felt drained. So I think it depends also like on your emotional intelligence, like, and then that was great. And then the second time I went, we did the breath work and then the cold plunge, and that's like the whole offer they give. And it was like I cried, people were sobbing during the breath work, and like it was so impactful. I think my boyfriend was somebody before breath work, and now he's somebody completely different. Like he's just so resilient, and so he's one of those people that like would go into their emotions and anxiety and be like panicking and stuff, and now he's like more grounded too and more it's like meditation on steroids, honestly. Like it was crazy. So now we go once a week, and it's honestly, it's like for me life changing. Like I feel so much more secure on myself every time I go. I don't know, it's crazy.
Yeah,
what's
that's
what's
awesome.
yours?
That's
What's
awesome.
your experience?
So I started doing cold plunges as ice baths in high school for volleyball. And so we thought it was fun and funny. We probably didn't need them at that point, but we were like, our legs are sore. And we would play with the rubber duck that was in there and just put it at 40 degrees and just hang out thinking it was fun. And then I used them in college also for muscle soreness, playing volleyball. But then as an adult, kind of circled back first for the muscles again, but then I heard about Wim Hof,
Mm-hmm.
has all these world records and
Yes.
swears by his breathing method and cold exposure. Um, and so I wanted to try it again. And I've lived with depression for 7 years now, and it was really pretty debilitating at one point. And so
Mhm.
I was like, well, you know what? I got nothing to lose. Let's try this.
Yeah.
And it helps. I mean, I actually notice a difference if I'm cold plunging every day and then I have 2 or 3 days where I don't. Uh,
Okay.
I count cold showers though too. So if I can't, I know only 2 minutes. And I got this from Wim Hof, his book. It's like when I can't, so I live right by Lake Michigan. So my
Okay.
cold plunges are in the lake.
Oh
And so
wow.
as of yesterday, the lake's at 65 degrees and doesn't really count as a cold plunge.
Mm.
So now it's going to have to be showers. But Wim Hof says at the end of your shower, and I find that if I turn up the heat and make it like too hot, then I'm ready to turn it cold. And 2 minutes in the cold shower, it's like terrible, but so worth it.
Wow, yeah. I don't know why for me that's like a trauma because like in Venezuela sometimes like you won't have hot water or even water. So it's like it was just I came from scarcity, I was like, ugh, this country, this shit, nothing works. Like, so it's like, oh, I hate this. I hate not having the choice. So my nutritionist also to say that like at the end of the shower, because of course, like everyone follows the Wim Hof method and stuff, and I've tried, and it's like sometimes I can do it, but like I can never put my head in there.
Yeah.
Even in the cold plunge, in the tub, like I have never put my head in there, and it's not that I don't want to or I can't, but it's more like, lady stuff. Like I just did my hair, I just washed my hair, I can't wash my hair again. So sometimes
It's
I
a
will
big
put like my
process.
face or something, and then
Yeah.
that counts. I don't know.
Yeah, that counts. Yeah, it does. Oh
But
my
yeah,
gosh.
with the breath work, I don't think they do Windhoff and something else. I need to remember. I'm gonna check it and put it in the comments. But basically it's another method, and it's insane because it gets you this momentum where you feel your energy in your hands and in your body, and you can like they make you move it. Like, all right,
Oh,
now squeeze and then bring it to your third eye, and you bring it here, and then you see blue, which is the third eye color. It's like I'm so powerful. Look at
yeah.
my vibe. It's so amazing. You know what I mean? Like, so that's why
So
I think it's
empowering.
so, yeah, it's so crazy. And they have like a speech like let go of like your limiting beliefs and this and that, and that's why you kind of like cry because you actually kind of do it, and then there's gratefulness in it, so it's like I'm like in love with this place. I'm obsessed.
That's so great. Oh my
Yeah,
God. It's
but that's
amazing.
so cool that you have like nature to do it on here. It's like it's so hot all year. The water is like a hot tub in the sea.
Oh my gosh. I can't even wrap my head around what that would be like. It's like Lake Michigan feels like it's freezing even in when it's not, but
Yeah, exactly. That's interesting. Have you ever been here? I think you told me.
I haven't been because you're Fort Lauderdale. I haven't been to Fort Lauderdale. I've been to Orlando.
Okay.
Actually, wait, Fort Lauderdale. Is that by St. Pete? No.
No, that's
Oh,
Tampa.
that's what you said. Okay. Yeah, that's where I've been. Two places I've been.
That's where I'm going this weekend for my birthday. Very
Oh, fun.
cute. Yeah, I've never been to, you're in Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been there either. I wanted to go. Apparently it's like gorgeous, but it's also freezing.
Yeah. Winters here are pretty cold and gray, but a lot of people swear there's no place better in the summer than Chicago.
Hmm.
I'm a lot of people. I'm not saying that as a statement of fact.
Yeah, yeah, I'll look into it. I'm
But
going to New York in July, but maybe for next week.
yeah, it kind of becomes a beach town to an extent.
Yeah. My
Like I go to
sister
the beach like 4 times a week in the summer.
nice. Yeah, here too. Well, I'm at the beach all the time, but well, here in the summer it becomes hurricanes. So right now it's like raining a lot and stuff, but it's also hot and beautiful half of the time. My sister-in-law's sister lives in Chicago, and she does paddle boarding
Oh, fun.
in the lake, and I always see her and I'm like, oh my God, that looks so beautiful to just paddleboard in that lake.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. It gets choppy sometimes is the one downside. You can't always
Uh,
count on it because it gets really choppy, but yeah,
mm,
so
yeah.
nice to have. I can't imagine living in a big city without that little nature escape.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I had that in New York, but even the lakes didn't give me the nature feeling at all, or like the beach there. I don't know. It's so far and hard to get to for some reason. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
You can't go in the water in the lakes, like in the Hudson and the other one.
Oh really?
Yeah. Mm-mm.
Oh, then does it even count as a lake?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So what other mindfulness activities do you practice?
So I've been really liking yoga nidra. Um, it's yogic sleep and your brain waves, it's like a meditation kind of state of consciousness or hypnosis. And
Mm.
so it's this super deep rest for the body, but then your mind is still active. And
Wow.
so they found that 1 hour of yoga nidra is equivalent to 4 hours of sleep as far as like deep rest. Um, and then also at the beginning of yoga nidra practice, you choose, they call it a sankalpa or like a resolve. but essentially it's like almost like a mantra that you create of like what you want to happen, like a manifestation mantra that you create. And
Okay.
so, for example, it could be like, I am happy and healthy and energetic. But it also could be specific, like I am living my best life in Florida on the beach every day. I don't know, and
Yeah.
which I'm not doing
Okay.
currently.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then you kind of forget that sankalpa and you essentially are like zoning out. You're awake, but again, the consciousness is weird. And then at the end, it brings back up your sankalpa, you bring it back to mind. And then in theory, over time, that manifestation starts to happen.
Oh.
The yoga teacher I had who taught me nidra for the first time, she said she did one where it was like, I'm in a relationship with my partner for life. And like 2 months later, she met her now husband.
Oh, wow. That's so cool.
Okay, noted. This stuff works.
Yeah, I think those things work as long as you really believe in and feel it. If you're doing manifestations, which I also do, but you're skeptical or you don't think you deserve it or anything, it usually doesn't happen. So there's like work to do on like just trusting it and just being like, just yes, this is what I want. So I'm gonna just go get it.
Totally, totally. And if someone's skeptical and they're like, oh, well, this isn't going to work, but I'm manifesting, well, then they're like not going to be open to opportunities and they're not going to be necessarily putting in, like you said, the work to try to make it actually happen. But
Yeah. Yeah. I think it comes with opening yourself up for it and just getting it done. Like, okay, I want this. So what do I need to do to get it? And that's how you open that portal. Like, okay, I manifested it, but I'm also working for it.
yeah, exactly. Half and half.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of the work still.
So what is it consistent? Like you close your eyes and you have a
Yeah,
guy.
so traditional is like you lay in yoga shavasana.
Mhm.
You're on your back, palms facing up, and you try to just get really comfortable because the goal is not to physically move once you get started. And so, of course, as soon as that's said, like everyone's nose itches or something like that. But the goal is to get so comfortable you don't have to move.
Okay.
And then you just lay there like that. And the instructor at the beginning stresses, like, I tell yourself, I will stay awake. I will not fall asleep. I will stay awake and practice yoga nidra. And so that's really the focus. And it happens that people fall asleep and the effects can still happen if you're sleeping. It's still great, but it's best if you actually stay awake for the whole thing.
Okay.
And then the instructor just kind of talks and goes through the script while you lay there in shavasana. And then at the end, they kind of just slowly bring you back and the practice. And that's really it.
So it's like a hypnosis, like they walk you through like manifesting.
Yeah. And so what I've heard the differences between this and hypnosis is that hypnosis, the person doing the hypnotizing drops the suggestion, but for yoga nidra, you create the suggestion yourself. And
Okay.
they're setting up the environment for that to work for you.
Nice. That's
Yeah,
really
I've
cute.
had,
I want to try that.
yeah, yeah. So on Insight Timer, that same app, they have yoga nidra.
Okay.
You can check out. I had some really wild experiences with this altered state of consciousness with
Yeah.
it. And so I firmly believe in this stuff. And I do it, I probably will do a yoga nidra like 3 or 4 times a week.
Wow. Okay. So what are those experiences?
So the first time, it was so weird. So I'm in a yoga shala doing my yoga teacher training in Peru. I'm laying on the ground and part of it is going through your body and just bringing your awareness to different parts of your body. And then part of it is feeling opposing sensations. So like warmth and then cold, soft and then, not soft. But at one point I felt like my body was like this high off the ground, levitating.
Wow.
And it freaked me out so much that I had this internal thought of I should open my eyes and end this. I'm not in control anymore. I'm scared. Like this is not real. This is wild. And
Mhm.
the opposing voice in my brain was like, don't do it. Stick to the process. Don't open your eyes. It was really, really weird. And then it felt like I came back down and my hands came back and went through the floor. Like it felt like they went past the ground into the floor.
Wow. That's crazy. That's so cool.
Yeah, it was really wild. So totally recommend trying it. See what you
Okay.
think.
I'll try it for sure. I love it. I feel like, yeah, you feel a little bit of like levitating or like lack of control in your hands when you do the kind of breath work that I do at that place. Where like either you crunch like this or I don't know, you feel like you're off the ground and things like that, or I don't know, it's so crazy. I feel it feels like you're on drugs, honestly. Like
Yeah, yeah.
drugs or something.
And it's all from the mind. The mind is so incredibly powerful. It's wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. Everything is in the mind. Like you can change your attitudes towards everything at every second of the day.
Yeah,
Isn't that insane?
wild. Yeah. Somebody actually who I was with yesterday on the beach said something like, the mind has everything we need to be perfectly happy. Isn't that crazy? And then he also said something along the lines of, like, but unfortunately, you need years of therapy before you can access all those tools. I was like, well, you're
So true.
not wrong.
Yeah. Therapy or coaching.
Or coaching. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is,
I mean,
or even just a self-exploration, but like it's just not accessible right away. You have to dig deep and
yeah.
find the
Yeah.
tools.
I feel like you need a third person to see what you're doing that you can't see on your own, like somebody to like put the light in the things that you can't see. And then that's the way you can and give you tools too. Cause I feel like I had no idea how to get where I'm at right now. And like I just got a bunch of tools thrown at me and then I used them.
It works.
Yeah, and that's how I got to be happy.
Mm. Yeah, definitely.
Mhm. So you do coaching and therapy? You just do therapy?
No, I just do coaching.
You just
Um, yeah, yeah. So, well, like I am a big advocate for therapy separately, but I am not like a licensed therapist. I'm just coaching, but for holistic health and wellness, yeah.
nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I have a therapist and well, we both have a coach.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
And
I have a therapist. I just am not myself a
yeah, yeah,
therapist.
yeah, same. I'm not a therapist.
Okay. Okay.
I'm a coach. And yeah, but I feel like it's important for both. I think it's important to analyze everything with the therapist, and then a coach will tell you like the tools and the steps for the future. So I don't know. I love both. There's a lot of coaches that don't like therapy and therapists that don't like my therapy. One of my therapists, because I have couples therapy and regular therapy, and like he's like, well, coaches are there like saying that they're gonna coach and then they're doing therapy, and I'm like, okay. And my therapist, the individual one too, like she's like, yeah, but you're sharing all this stuff and you can't. I'm like, okay, stop it with the fighting. There's no real. We can all exist in the same space. Like we need you and you need us. It's fine. Don't resist change. It's inevitable.
And it's all about helping people live their best lives. So like,
Exactly.
can't argue if something's working, let it happen.
Exactly. Yeah, I love that. But yeah, is there any suggestions or like advice that you would like to give people on here?
Oh, great question. Um, for advice, I would suggest finding some sort of holistic practice that sounds like it could be sustainable for you, and then just going all in and give it 2 weeks to a month of every day. So if it's cold plunging or meditating or yoga nidra, or, there's so many different options. Tapping is another great one we haven't even talked about, but
Yeah.
I think you pick one and consistently stick with it for 2 weeks to a month and just notice how you feel. Because the worst case is that nothing happens, but chances are something will, and you'll feel so much better. I mean, it can only just make things level up from wherever someone starts. Even if someone starts off happy, like things just get better.
I love that. So let's talk about tapping and the word holistic. So first, what does holistic mean to you?
To me, holistic means taking a full approach, like a full person, full body, mind, and spirit approach to health and wellness. So what you eat affects your mood affects your gut, and how it's just all interchangeable. And so if you're going to fix the gut, you also need to work on the mind, and vice versa. And this holistic approach really helps get to the root cause of dis-ease.
I love that. Yeah, for me, like
And what does
my
holistic mean to you?
yeah, so so I come from a household of like scientists and know-it-alls and like literal people and da da da. And so for my parents, holistic means like the opposite of science. Like you're just gonna go against what like science brings. And it's like for me, it's not at all that. It's like taking care of yourself as a whole, like kind of like what you just described. So looking into everything, your mind, your spiritual journey, that's like very far from scientists. It's like, that's bullshit, whatever, da da da. Like I'm an atheist and my parents are atheists, but like I believe in spirituality. Like I think, praying is kind of like meditating, where you just focus on being present and like you work on yourself basically. And I feel like that's like so important and it's so um I don't know, like seen as like silly from our parents' generations, because it's kind of like new, but scientifically it's proven to be so good for you and that brings you happiness and it makes you be present. So yeah, it's interesting. But but yeah, I think that we all need it and that it's it has nothing to do, like I believe in science and in doctors and like, if I have something broken, I'm gonna get surgery, like I'm not gonna say go on and in cold plunge and that's gonna help. No, like and I also don't have that knowledge either, but this is not for that. And it's not like, I feel like people just connotate it as like a negative thing and get like anti-vaxxers and da 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 and this and that. And it's like, no, it's just like listening to yourself, your body, and working on integrally on everything. And especially in the spiritual mind and the emotional intelligence so that you could be like a better person.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. Love it.
Mhm. Thank you.
I feel like modern medicine, we treat the symptoms.
And not the root.
Yeah, and so we're putting on all these band-aids, but the problem's still going to be there. And
But
I think holistic an approach will more likely get to the root of the problem.
for sure. But I feel like that's American. Like my
Oh,
doctors in Venezuela or even in France, I lived in Venezuela and in France, um, they would look into the root. Like they would go and look everywhere and they were very good at diagnosis. Like, and here it's like, no, I'm gonna give you a pill for everything.
mm,
And like there's not such thing in Venezuela. Like there's no like the prescription thing like it is here. Like it's okay, if you need antibiotics, I'll give you antibiotics. But there's no like, I don't know, like the Band-Aid
yeah,
approach. And they actually care about you and it's kind of like your family and you can call them even when you're not with them. I don't know. I feel like maybe it's because it's a smaller country and there's the demand and the mass is less huge, so that's the way America had to cope with it. I don't know. I don't believe that they do it on purpose, to
right.
like mess you up and just get you hooked to pills. But I do think that they don't get to the root of the problem and they just the symptoms. They just want to work on the symptoms and then you're sick always and you're hooked to the system and buying more pills and stuff like that. So I did do that too, where like I used to be in a lot of pills and a lot of stuff and working holistically, my nutritionist and like all of this stuff. Like now I'm on nothing and I overwrote and reversed the things that I used to have. Like I had PCOS and I had in insulin resistance and all these things that are like genetic, and the doctor said I would never go away. I just had to deal with it and da da da. But like with diet, exercise, and mindfulness, it went away. Like I don't have it anymore. Yeah.
That's so great. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
I know, right? Do you have any like similar experiences?
No, just like it makes me feel better. And so I don't have a like that's a really amazing success story to sell it. Like I feel like that's what people will hear that and be like, oh my gosh, now I'm gonna go try all these practices. But for me, it's more just like anecdotal of, oh man, I mean, I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety, but I didn't reverse it, but it's just way better and way more manageable. And I have like a vibrant, joyful life, which I didn't necessarily have all the time
Hmm.
before I was doing these holistic practices.
Yeah.
So I think I mean, it was like a level up, but no full reversal.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's still very good, right? Because like you were able to get better and to
Yeah.
get your situation better with only like holistic mindfulness practices. So I think that's also very attractive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. That's awesome.
So do you have a piece of advice that you would share?
I would say you definitely need to apply any or get into any mindfulness practice. And I feel like people should do it as a non-negotiable, just as they work out, because our bodies are not meant to be sedentary. We haven't evolved that fast with like the technology. And I feel like it's exactly the same for the brain. So you need to be able to calm your brain down, because we're not wired to have so much information and so much stress and so many things happening in our lives at the same time, and being so um like having access to everything in every second of the day in every part of the world. So we need to um practice some kind of brain gym to
Yeah.
cope with the lifestyle that we're living, and like have a better life, because it's very overwhelming.
Brain gym. I love that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exercise for
Right.
the brain.
What?
It's like exercise for the brain. It's
Yeah,
so great.
yes, I think I see it that way. It's like once so I was very resistant to it because I come from the household I come from. And then when I started, like, I saw like TED Talks and things like that. And that's what they would say, like, how they would analyze the brain of a meditator and a non-meditator. And it's like this one, the meditator would like live a happier life and a longer life, and react all the time like more in a neutral level, and the other one would leave less, would not be happy, would always complain, would always da da da, and like triggers. So I was like, okay, you sold me. I need to do this, just like I need to work out, just like I need to take care of my diet and not get poison inside of me. I need to work on my mind. So yeah.
So great. So important.
I know, that's so cool. All right. So do you have anything else that you want to share with us?
I don't think so. This has been great. Thanks, Vero. How about you? Anything, any last thoughts to share?
No, I think we said a lot and it was very meaningful. So I'm hoping that everyone finds this as interesting as I did. And thank you all for being here. Follow us and leave us a comment if you liked it, like it. And thank you so much for being here.
Bye.